we had this idea to create the community in being straight after the Easter retreat that many of you came to. And it just felt such a strong calling to create this and to offer this. And so we put this out a couple of weeks ago, and we had a very, very strong response. We had I think we have over 70 people signed up for this as a monthly, month by month, committed process where we come together twice a week to just be together, to just be together, but to be together in a meditative way, and to be together in a way where we're beginning to fully open to ourselves, fully explore ourselves, fully open to and embrace our humanness, but to do so from and as the light of consciousness, so that we begin to discover something inside us which is deeper than our conditioning and deeper than our personal identity. And then we begin to use this realization or this recognition. We begin to use this as a basis on which to bring everything else into its embrace, everything else into its light, everything else into its awareness. And I felt that if we could create something where we had this possibility to meditate together, to inquire together, to share together, and to just be together in this space of deeper being, then this would be a tremendous support for people in their lives. It would be a tremendous support both in your spiritual life, but also in your day-to-day life. So it doesn't feel like these two things are separate or different. And it doesn't feel like you have to go away on a retreat or sort of be away from the world. But here, we're right in the world. And, I lived for many years almost like a monk. But actually I found that my expression, my true expression, is just a kind of very much ordinary, everyday expression, but one that is rooted in the true self. One that is rooted in the deeper self. So I felt that in creating this community where we could be together in this way, then not only would people have regular interactions with myself, with Ulrika and Yada, but also interactions with so many other people who are called in a similar way. When I had my own awakening, my first awakening, which is almost 20 years ago now, I didn't know anybody who I could speak to about this. I didn't know anybody who I could speak to. In fact, I went to the Buddhist center where I've been living for many years. And I thought, well, maybe one of the monks, they've been speaking about this for a while. Maybe one of them could help me. They couldn't. They couldn't. And it wasn't until actually somebody gave me a copy of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle that was the first possibility that I saw of a kind of deeper understanding, a deeper understanding. And many of us now, we are called deeply into this. And maybe we don't want to go and live in an ashram. We don't want to sort of move away from our lives, but we want to be supported right in the core of our lives. So that is really what is being shared here, and what the invitation is here. And, you know, I'm going to show up, and Yada is going to show up, and Ulrika is going to show up. And the invitation is for you to show up, to just show up and to just be here, and to fully explore yourself in this meditative space. Because really everything that we're doing is always held in this meditative field. It's always held in this deeper field. And for those of you who have been with me now for many years, you'll know that I'm never speaking about a philosophy or about kind of abstract mental stuff. I'm always speaking about my own recognition and my own deepening into being, and also my own honesty about my own trauma and my own inner child work and my own humanness. And I very much encourage everybody to be open about that, so that nobody feels, you know, they've got to be perfect on a human level. None of us are, none of us can be. So one of the questions that we put out on the form, when we sent out the form a couple of weeks ago, one of the questions was, why do you want to join a community in being? And we're really lucky because we get to read all of these answers. We get to see all of these answers. And you know, you might think you're just writing for yourself, but to read through those answers, it is such a confirmation and such a joy to sense that there are so many people who feel called in this similar way to come into this path of simplicity and natural self-honesty. And maybe a little bit later on, I'm going to invite a few of you, if you want to share what you wrote, or you want to share why you wanted to join the community in being. I think it would be really nice to hear from some of you if you feel to share that, either as a vocally, to come up on the screen vocally, or to just write a message, but just to get a feeling for where people are coming from. And actually we have people joining us from all over the world as well. So you may find where, you know, maybe you're living in a small place somewhere, and you may have felt that you were very alone with this. And you actually might find that there's someone up the road, but there's someone very nearby. There are certainly people in your country who become part of this wider Sangha, this wider group of beings who are called to discover their true nature and live from that place. From the Facebook group, which I'm going to just share on the Facebook, on the chat now, on the Zoom chat. So you'll see the list of things that really come up all the time. They're the main things that come up over the last 10 years of holding these meetings. So I just read them out in case you can't see them. Inner peace, awakening, self-inquiry, true meditation, embodied presence, the self, the egoic mind, the inner child, embracing our humanness from the light of consciousness, high sensitivity and trauma, surrender and prayer, redemptive love, conscious relationships, and life after awakening. So I think that little list should keep us going for a while. And there should be something for everybody in that list. And what we really encourage you to do is truly explore yourself within that framework. And what I always like to say is that it is you that makes the satsangs and the meetings. You make them. And the more authentic and the more real and the more open you can be in your sharings and in your questions and in your inquiries, then the more that will bring forward something from me and also from many other people in the group. And in a minute, I'm going to just speak a little bit about this circle thing that we sent out, because this is really also the core of the teachings. And we speak about these four sort of circles. And really the outer circle is the circle of ego protection. And that is where all our self-image is, our roles, our coping strategies, where our strong identity is. And that has often been the space where that has sort of kept us safe and helped us survive. But you're being invited here to sort of see through that and come deeper in yourself. And then we come to the layer of humanness. And our humanness is all, the things that we speak about, the vulnerability, the sensitivity, the inner child, the trauma, everything that makes us human, deeply human. And we're really encouraging you to open to that as much as you're able to, without forcing anything, and to just bring this very sort of gentle approach to your humanness. And then as you come deeper than the humanness, you come to the ground of being, or the ground of presence, or the ground of natural consciousness. And it is that area inside us which, when we're able to access that and to get in touch with that, we're truly then able to embody our humanness and embody ourselves fully. Finally, there's the final circle, which is the self. And the self is that which is ever present. It is always here. It is always the same. It sees all of the movements, but it itself is not touched by any movement. It is not separate from the movements, but it is untouched by any movement. And we also speak about this and encourage people to look into this, into the pure self. Really, this group is about awakening. It is about a shift in consciousness. So we begin to know ourselves as the spirit inside us, in whose presence our humanness arises. Yes. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to do was I just wanted to very quickly go over these frequently asked questions, because several people have written to us with these questions. So I just wanted to just quickly go through them, and then we'll see if anybody else has any questions at the end to finish. And then we'll have just a shorter meditation to end this evening. So if you've got this copy of the welcome letter that we sent out, I'm just going to go through the questions and answers here and just try to bring some clarity there. So Question 1, which days are the satsangs and which days are the sharing groups? Because we know the meetings are on Wednesdays and Sundays, but which days will the satsang happen and which day will the sharing happen? Well, at the moment, we are keeping it open. We are keeping it open. And especially in the beginning, there may be more focus on the satsangs just to get it moving and get it in the right direction. But generally speaking, there'll be one satsang each week and one sharing, meditation and sharing. And then there is a question, will there be any possibilities for smaller sharing groups? So we will have big sharings, and we will also have smaller sharing groups. And we have this little function in Zoom where we can kind of put you in little rooms together. So we can put sort of 4 or 5 of you in a room together, and then you can have a small sharing amongst yourselves, and then you can come back and share it with the bigger group. And there may also be some people who wish to have smaller group sharings away from the main satsangs. And there will be the possibility of that too as things develop. So some people have written to us and they've said they would like to offer yoga, they would like to offer dance, music, or some other activity, and they've asked if that is possible. And we have said, yeah, that is very possible. And we're very much, we're very happy if people want to share things like that. They won't replace the satsangs and the sharing groups. They will happen every week, but it may be that, for example, there may be 1 or 2 yoga classes a month, which maybe happen on, a Saturday afternoon or some other time. Or there might be a dance or something once a month, which someone wants to offer. But we will write to you about those things. And if anybody feels to offer anything, then please let us know and we can put that in onto the schedule. So now we come to the question, will the meetings be recorded? So this is a big one for people, and we understand that. And what we have said is that the focus group meetings, they will not be shared publicly. So people can feel like this is an intimate space and people feel comfortable in that space of sharing. So, but I may sometimes record the meditation, or I may record some things that I say. And if ever we feel there was a really great interaction, which many people may benefit from, we may ask you, how do you feel about us sharing that? But there is no pressure or expectation for any of it to be shared. We want people to feel safe and comfortable in this group. So we will record the meetings, but we will only use the bits where I share. And if there's something that maybe we feel this could be really good, we will ask your permission. But we really encourage you just to be really honest with us. Say, no, I don't want to have that shared, and that will be the end of it. There are also some people who can't make all the meetings, and they have asked us, can you record the meetings and send them to me? Like, there are lots of people who can't make tonight's meeting, so they've asked, can we share the meeting with them? So I'm not really keen on doing that. I would rather people be present in the meetings, because otherwise we're just going to be spending all of our time, sending the, it's too much hassle, really. So my feeling is try to be present in the meetings. I don't think I want to get into sharing recordings with people. And I'm very happy for your opinion on this, and I'll give everybody space for their opinion in a minute, but I'm just sharing what my feeling is about it. Okay, then we have a question. Someone is asking, what do I do if I want to continue in the focus group once this first month is over? So what we've said is that you automatically stay in the focus group month by month. Your commitment to the focus group is to make a conscious donation, and thank you to the people who have done that so far. And if you haven't done it so far, you can just do it whenever you can. And to come to at least one meeting a week. Now, if when you get to the end of this month, if you feel like, oh, you know, it didn't really work for me, I didn't really get anything out of it, or it wasn't your thing, then just let us know. And then we take you off the list, and new people can come in at the beginning of each month, but they can't come in the middle of the month. They can't come in once the focus group has begun. New people can't come in, and we start again each month. And we're just going to run it like this and just see how it goes. You know, maybe after 3 months, it will just be me, Yada, and Ulrika here, and we might have to look at it then, but we'll run it for a few months and see how it goes. Okay, then we have a question from somebody. They're asking, can I invite other people to watch the meetings with me? So maybe, you know, you have a friend coming to stay with you, or you're away somewhere and you have friends who are interested in spirituality. Can they come in and join the meeting? No, they can't. And that is for everybody's benefit. It's so that we have this core group that is just for these meetings, that just the people who have signed up. If they want to join a meeting, we're going to have 1 or 2 open meetings every month, and they can come to the open meetings. And they can also sign up for the focus group for the next month. If they can make 1 meeting a week and make a donation, then also they can do that. But in general, we ask you please not to invite other people. Then we have a question, last 2 questions now, and then that will be it. Question, I have something I wish to talk about or work with, but I feel uncomfortable doing this in front of the whole group. Is there another way to do this? So we have said that if it's something that you want to work on your, you know, away from the group, then you can book a private session with myself or Ulrika, or you can send us a message and maybe I can speak about it in the group. So those are the main options for that. But we mostly encourage you to bring things forward in the group if you feel to. That's the encouragement. But of course, some people have got, you know, I understand this. I never felt comfortable speaking so openly in big groups either. So maybe you know that's difficult for you. And lastly, the last question, will the meeting days and times always be the same? So our answer is, our intention is to keep them as they are for now, but we will review the meetings, times and days after this lockdown period ends, but we will definitely keep it the same up until the end of each month. So if we're ever going to change anything, we won't just say, oh, you know, oh, from, you know, next week we're meeting on Friday morning or something. Now, for the month, it will always be the same. And then at the end of the month, we will review it. And we very much want you guys to be part of the process of reviewing what we're doing and giving us feedback about what we're doing. So we create this community together. You know, it's not this is for everybody who feels called, and for everybody to be part of. And I've said many times, you know, I'm not a guru or anything like that. I'm more like just a kind of friend on the path. And also Ulrika is a friend, Yad is a friend on the path. And that is how we feel. We want to create this community in that spirit.